Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine, and it's the weekly playlist time. And this time we're going back to 1986. Expect some metal. Right, 1986, and again with all these playlist videos, there are tons of albums to pick from. There are lots of things I've left out. This will not be the only video I do on 1986, so just chill. For those of you thinking I've completely lost my mind, if there's anything that I've missed out that seems so obvious. It's just whatever I really have been playing gets picked. But there's also, when I do this, it kind of takes me back to lots of different things, lots of different feelings. And 1986 was less than a year after my dad had sadly passed away. I was all over the place. I apparently, because I'm just, as I'm talking to you, it's lots of stuff is flooding in. Apparently, I was on the verge of greatness. I'd signed a publishing deal in London. The band I was with, Tantrum, the tapes were being bandied around different record labels. I was out of work. I had no money. I was hoping that something magical was going to happen. But my mom was literally falling apart. I was not in a good place. And so music was everything, but I had to really be careful on what I spent the money on because I didn't have any money. And back then you took gambles with some bands, and you just thought, I hope this is going to be good. I hope this is going to be worth the money, which I'm paying for out of my dole money because that's literally where I was. And there was a band that I absolutely loved, and everything that they'd bringing out had just hit the mark. Starting from Restless and Wild, was it Balls to the Wall? What was the one after that? Can't remember. And I remember in the band, they were saying, I'd only got enough money to buy one album that month. And the bass player said, don't buy except Russian Roulette. Don't get that. Get Turbo by Priest. And I was thinking, Judas Priest, I don't know, they've kind of wobbled a bit in the last two releases, as far as I was concerned back then anyway. Whereas Accept have literally delivered. Every album has just hit the mark, and Balls to the Wall was just so fantastic. So I thought, no, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to get some good riffage. I'd seen the Accept live a couple of times as well, and I just thought, no, this is the one. I found this incredibly disappointing at the time. I don't have this on CD. And TV War, Russian Roulette, it's hard to find a way. Aiming High, Heaven is Hell, I've missed a track, haven't I? Walking in the Shadow, Man Enough to Cry, Stand Tight. I think there was Monster Man from this, and could have been Another Second to Be, were the only two tracks that sounded like Accept as I knew Accept. Why shouldn't a band be allowed to move on and try something slightly different? Absolutely no reason at all. But where I was mentally, I just wanted what they'd given me before, and they didn't do it. And yeah, you can see, can't you? Even though it's in one of these super shiny sleeves, this is mint because it hardly ever gets played. Portrait Records, they'd obviously hit the big time, but no. Should I give it another go? What does that mean? I've not properly played? No, I haven't. I've just got these out. Normally, it's because I've played them all, because it's my plays for the week. I haven't played them all. So this I've pulled out because it's 1986. But I'm going to revisit it. And maybe in the community tab, I'll say whether my feelings have changed. Well, as I've mentioned Turbo, I should mention Turbo. I don't have that on vinyl. I think Dan, my oldest son's got it. I eventually bought it on CD, but someone did a tape for me. And this is one of those albums by Judas Priest that people either like or they don't they? And I know some things are really kind of cheesy vocally, aren't they? Like Parental Guidance, Private Property. It's a bit kind of Rob Halford is good at these cheesy type lyrics, but I just thought it was brilliant. I played it over and over again, and the live album that followed this, some people said to me, "Oh, I wish they'd done a live album following one of the other albums," but I think it was perfect because the live renditions of tracks from Turbo are fantastic. They still do Turbo, don't they? But Locked In, Rock You All Around the World, Out in the Cold. Jeez. I mean, how cool is that? White Nights, Hot and Crazy Nights, Hot for Love, Reckless. There's a couple of bonus tracks on this. But no, Turbo is one of my favourite Priest albums. I did a Judas Priest ranking video and it was right up there. Is that the one to get? There's a better one, and it's this one. They changed the design for the Super Deluxe Edition version, but it also comes with a double live CD recorded in 1986, and it was recorded, I think, in Kansas City on the Fuel for Life tour. Absolutely top notch, and they did tons of tracks from it. Out in the Cold, Locked In is on there as well. The Sentinel, Private Property, Desert Plains, great track that. I know it's from Point of Entry. Halen, Free Will Burning, just a great live concert. But I think all 9 tracks, even the ones with the slightly cheesy, Kind, they are cheesy vocals. But I think it was the synthesizers, wasn't it? I think that put people off. But I think the production and everything about it, it's a great Judas Priest album. And I made a mistake. I should have bought this one with my dole money rather than accept. What else was going on then? The other big news, and it was huge news, I think in America it was a bit of an issue, I don't know, was that Van Halen teamed up with Sammy Hagar. I'm a massive Sammy Hagar fan. You know that I took some of his albums into the hairdresser and said, please make me look like Sammy. So obviously I was a huge fan. I'd seen Sammy Hagar was big in the UK. He played the Birmingham Odeon a couple of times. Def Leppard supported, I think the first time could have been, was it Gary Moore? The second time, I can't remember. So when I heard that David Lee Roth had left, which was a shock, but he was going to go solo and teaming up with Steve Vai, I just thought, result. And the new vocalist for Van Halen was going to be Sammy Hagar. I just went out to get this. I was just so confident that this would just be Van Halen going up to the next level. It wasn't quite that. I think the next one was better, much better. I think this one was a bit kind of start, stop, really. But it's got some great stuff on it. To get this on CD, I would recommend that you go for this little box set that has them all in, because they're all in little mini sleeves, and the remastering is absolutely fantastic. Does it say who did this? I can't. Yes, Bernie Grundman did it. And they come with the little sleeves inside as well. But Best of Both Worlds is fantastic. Dreams, of course. Why Can't This Be Love was a massive hit. Inside, what did I say? It's Stop Start. Because as I read out the titles of the tracks, Get Up, Good Enough. I don't know why I say it. Delete that. Because I think I'm thinking back to when I first heard it, because again I wanted everything to be on one level because of losing my dad. I just wanted everything to come out like that. I have played this quite a bit in recent years, and actually there isn't a bad track on it at all. In fact, even the inside, the kind of weird track that ends on side 2, I like it all. Love Walks In, Good Enough, Get Up. Yeah, it's great. Absolutely great. In fact, I know for certain that this is going to be the first one I put on from this list of albums after this video. Well, by mentioning this and David Lee Roth, I have to mention David Lee Roth. Now this one, this is why I think I said that about Van Halen. I thought Van Halen were the Rolls Royce of rock music, so I just expected it to be good with Sammy Hagar. But when I heard this, David Lee Roth won that particular race. Get the little box set if you want to get them on CD, by the way. Where is it? It'll be easy for me to read from the stuff, I think, if I look at this. But no, the way it starts with Yankee Rose and the way that bit of guitar talk with Steve Vai, you just knew what was coming was going to be fantastic. And who produced it? Ted Templeman. So it was going to have that Montrose sheen on it. It was going to have that timeless Doobies, Warner Brothers. This album will never date. This album will always sound huge. This album will really push your stereo wherever you want it to go. And it does that. And Yankee Rose, Shy Boy, the really fast, the bass lines and everything, the musicians absolutely pushing the boundaries. David Lee Roth having a time of his life, tongue in his cheek, just being an absolute rock star. Ladies' Night in Buffalo, going crazy, Big Trouble, Bunk and Grind, That's Life. It has everything. It's such a joyous, fun album. I know not everyone likes this. I don't know. I saw David Lee Roth not on this tour, two albums after this, and it just made me glad to be alive. I just found everything about the way he presented himself and this album, the guitar, everything about this is fun. This is rock music. This is rock music that just makes me want to get out my imaginary guitar, if I can't be bothered to tune up the ones behind me, and just go for it. So there you go. So that's David Lee Roth, 1986, Eat 'em and Smile. What else we got? The next one, my mates told me I got to get into this band because I was behind, and it was Tesla. Really long album on vinyl, way too long really, nearly an hour long, so the pressing suffers. But I do like this, and in fact, although the other albums have become more of my favourites as the years have gone by, have I got these lurking around somewhere? I think I have, yeah, because I bought it on CD eventually. But I loved this. It wasn't all out metal. It was kind of more hard rock. There was a kind of free element to it, although it's nothing like free. But there's something about some aspects of the song arrangements. But Hang Tough is brilliant. Lady Luck. And Yesterday's Gone. Making Magic is fantastic. There's some great riffage. Party Is Over. They're a great band. I don't feel in the UK they really broke through to be on the level they should have got to, really. And they've made tons of albums, and I don't have them all. But this I've always this was one of these records that it took a lot to absorb. Whereas like Eat 'em and Smile, I was there, I could name every single track, I knew them back to front. This one took a bit longer. And there's a lot in it. It's a really, it's the kind of thing now that if it was repressed on vinyl, it would probably be a double, I feel. But yes, Tesla, and God, it's gone out of my head. The Great Radio Controversy on Geffen Records from 1986. Great album. What's your favourite Tesla album, by the way? And the next two, because the last one isn't metal at all, but it's the kind of music I should have been listening to. And I might have to just pause because I've left it out of reach. But we're still in metal land. This was something I picked up, Keel. I picked this up in a sale. It says, did I? Or did I get it from London? I don't know. It's a promotional copy, not for resale, so I didn't get it in the sale at all. So I just took a chance on this, produced by Gene Simmons. I knew nothing about them. But it's good stuff. It's got some killer tracks. This is the Rock Candy version. It's a Rock Candy album without the sticker on the front. It has Because the Night on it by Patti Smith, and it's a really good version. But there's two tracks on it that really do it for me. And it is Raised on Rock, with Michael DeBar is on that. I forgot he was on this. And he great vocal, great rock singer is Michael DeBar. I must talk to him again. And then No Pain, No Gain. What a riff. That is so in your face. Not all the album is on that level. Tears of Fire is good. But I used to play, because they're on side 2, aren't they? If I've got that correct, I think they are. Yeah, Raised on Rock and No Pain, No Gain. As I said in previous episodes, Friday night and Saturday night for me was just playing tracks, and by the time I was ready to go and catch the bus, there were records all over the floor, and I just put them away the next day. But it was side 2, Raised on Rock, No Pain, No Gain. So it's picking up the stylus and plonking it down on the last track, and I just go backwards and forwards to get myself in the right vibe for those Friday and Saturday nights in 1986. Keel, The Final Frontier. Last but one. Look at this guy here. Can you see this dude? Can you just about make him out? Now that is a rock and roll star, isn't it? That is a rock and roll star from 1986, from the 1980s. This is why things like grunge and death metal and thrash metal were waiting in the wings, because there was something about being able to dress like that and head out and catch a bus in Birmingham that you couldn't do now. Vinnie Vincent's Invasion, Hot from Being with Kiss. There are some amazing songs on this. Now, not everyone's going to agree with me, because I know that Vinnie Vincent has an army of fans. Boys Are Just Gonna Rock, Shoot You Full of Love is good. No Substitute, Animal, Twisted. Do You Want to Make Love, Back on the Streets, I Want to Be Your Victim, Baby O Invasion. If there was anything to say about this, which I eventually tracked down on CD, it is that Vinnie really wanted to be an absolute guitar hero, and it sounded like it was being played by how many notes he could dispense in one go. So he was dispensing notes, as one of my friends told me once, faster than a cash machine point on a Saturday night. And maybe he could have just left a few of them out. That's just how I felt, and I do now. And also, the mix on this album is guitars, and everyone else is the next level down. This is, Vinnie was in that studio and he said, more guitar. And when he went to do his solos, it was more notes. It's a great album. It's really of its time in some ways. But if you want to hear a heavy metal guitarist who's absolutely plugged into the mains, who just literally just press that button and boom, then this is that album, because it really kind of, if you want to know what it was like then, this album will tell you exactly what it was like then. So that is the metal section of my video. So there'll be a slight pause, because the next one I want to show you, I forgot to put within arm's reach. So pause. And we're back. The last one from 1986 is from Tangerine Dream, in this little box set called The Blue Years, studio album 1985 to 1987. And this was an album that was mentioned on the Now Spinning Arms virtual meetup the other day. And it is Underwater Sunlight. I should have been listening to this in 1986. I think this kind of music would have helped me. When I talk about music as a healer and a doctor, I think I was in so much pain and uncertainty about what was going on around me, with everything that was happening, that I was just immersing myself in high octane metal and alcohol, that I needed something to actually give me some space between my thoughts, really. And this is that album, and this is so different to Tangerine Dream in the 70s. The main reason, of course, is guitar. There's tons of guitar on this, and the guitar playing is probably closer to Dave Gilmour than you might expect. But Paul Haslinger on guitar and Edgar Froese on guitar as well. Edgar's playing some amazing solos, but it's the guitar that makes it. It's this ambient music, wonderful upbeat rhythms and wonderful guitar that makes this a highlight of 1986, although I didn't hear it in 1986. It would be decades later before I discovered this. And when it comes to Tangerine Dream, I think there's a lot of people that go, right, I like the Virgin stuff, I like the 70s, and then after that I'm drawing a line. Because after that, it must have been a bit like bands like Hawkwind. They're still going, but like there's so much other stuff to discover. I understand that. But Tangerine Dream in the 80s were just as valid, and they were pushing the boundaries of where they could get to. And I have played this already this week. I've played it several times. And in fact, this is the album that inspired the 1986 playlist, because I thought, oh, I want to talk about Tangerine Dream, but how do I do this? And I thought, well, this came out in 1986. What else did? And that's what basically made me look around to think, well, what was I doing in 1986? I mean, and that's why this one, it sits at the top. And so the other ones are all going to be played, but it's this one that's been on the most, because although obviously I'm a different person now, and I like so much different types of music, and if I was playing like all those albums I've just shown you one after the other, I'd probably think that was probably too much metal in one go. But I will obviously, but what I'm trying to say is that back then this would have done me good. It would have given me a different perspective on things, and that's what music is. As I've said before, it just puts a different slant on stuff. So this is I've really sorry. I don't know how to sum up, do I? Underwater Sunlight, anyway, by Tangerine Dream from the Blue Years studio albums, little box set. This is Esoteric, who do these wonderfully, as you know. Anyway. That has been my 1986 Part 1 playlist, looking at stuff that from my collection. And next time we're probably going to go further forwards and also further back with a different one. But thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Let me know what you played from 1986. What happens if you weren't born then? That's great. Just have a look. Go to Wikipedia. And there must be something you've heard. Or maybe some of these things you've never heard of before. It'd be a bit of a journey. But let me know what you think. Or just let me know what you've been playing outside of that year. Because what you tell me also inspires me to go off and play something I haven't played for a long time as well. It's fantastic, isn't it? So thank you for being part of this community. If you become a patron or a YouTube member, you'll be able to come deeper still into our own online communities. We've got a private group on Facebook, and we've got private groups on WhatsApp as well. And you can come along to our own private little get-together, our own little pub called the Now Spinning Arms, which meets up twice a month. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please take care, keep spinning those discs, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.